Hello. In this example, we're going to go ahead and start talking about equations. And we're starting out with a definition here, and the definition is for a linear equation. So, a linear equation in one variable can be written in the form ax plus b equals 0, where a and b are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. And we have some steps to solving listed right here. And the steps to solving are to clear fractions by multiplying each term by the LCD. The second one is to remove parentheses using the distributive property. The third one is to combine like terms on each side of the equation, of the equal sign. Number 4, collect variable terms on one side of the equal sign and constant terms on the other using addition and subtraction. 5, divide both sides by the coefficient of the variable. And then 6, check by substitution. Excellent. These are the steps. And let's go ahead and show that in action here. Now, the question that we have is to solve 3, and then parentheses, 4x minus 2, close parentheses, plus 1 equals 2x plus 5. Now, up here, the very first thing says to clear fractions by multiplying each term by the LCD. Well, there aren't any fractions, and so as a result, we can skip that step. The second step is to remove parentheses using the distributive property. But let's go ahead and remind ourselves what the distributive property is. It is a, and then parentheses, b plus c. Now, what is going to happen is we're going to distribute the a to every term in the parentheses here. Now, remember, terms are separated with addition and subtraction. If you don't have any addition or subtraction in there, then you only have one term, and that means that it's just this times whatever the single term is here. But because there is a parentheses here, that means that this is the same thing as a times b plus a times c. In other words, we would take this and distribute a to every term in that parentheses using multiplication. Okay, with this in mind, looking at this, notice that we need to go ahead and distribute the 3 to both the 4x and the negative 2 using multiplication. So 3 times 4x. Well, when we're multiplying polynomials, we need to make sure that we multiply the coefficients. So coefficients are just the constants. So 3 times 4 is 12, and we're left with 12x. And then we have a minus 2 here, so 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And then plus 1 equals 2x plus 5. Excellent. Now, at this point, we have just distributed, which means we have just completed the step 2. The next step is to combine like terms. Now, what are like terms? Like terms are terms with the exact same variables, each raised to their exact same exponents. And we need to look at this as each side of the equal sign. So for this one, we have stuff to the left of the equal sign and stuff to the right of the equal sign. But the stuff to the right of the equal sign, these are not like terms because there's an x here and there's not an x here. So just rewrite the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, however, notice that you have 12x, negative 6, positive 1. Of those, 12x is not a like term with the other two. But you still have negative 6 plus 1. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. And notice that I'm just doing that on each side of the equation. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just saying ignore the right-hand side here and just look at the left-hand side by itself. If you were to simplify that, you get negative 5. Excellent. The next step is to collect variable terms on one side of the equal sign and constant terms on the other using addition and subtraction. In other words, I want the variable on one side, everything else on the other. So looking at this, I've got a 12x here and a 2x here. To get those on the same side, I can do one of several different things. But the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to try and get everything the x's to the left. That generally makes people feel better. So let's subtract 2x from both sides. Now, why did I subtract? I subtracted because this is a positive 2, and the opposite of addition is subtraction. So I need to subtract 2x from both sides. Notice I'm having to do this to both sides because now I'm actually affecting what each side is going to look like. Okay, so 2x minus 2x, notice that they actually cancel each other. So I'm left with 12x minus 2x on the left-hand side, which is 10x, because 12 minus 2 is 10, and keep the variable the same. Minus 5 equals 5. Next, we need to get the constant terms to the other side of the x's. So we have the x's over here, which means this needs to move to the right-hand side. And to do that, we have a negative 5. We need to get rid of it by adding 5, because that's the opposite of subtracting. Notice that as a result, the negative 5 and positive 5 cancel each other. So on the left-hand side, you're left with just 10x, and on the right-hand side, 5 plus 5 is 10. Excellent. This is always where we want to get to. Our goal is always something like this. AX equals B. To get the x by itself, I need to divide by whatever's in front of A, or whatever's in front of x. And so here, we're going to do the same thing, but what number is in front of x? The number in front of x is 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 10. Now the reason that it's 10 is because that's the number that's here. It doesn't matter what number is here. It only matters what number is here. And so we're dividing by 10 on both sides there. And as a result, 10 divided by 10 is just 1. So we're just left with x on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, 10 divided by 10 is 1. And so that means that x equals 1 is the solution to this equation. Now, what do we mean by solution instead of answer? Solution is the set of all values of the variable that makes the original statement true. So with mathematical statements, we can have either true or false. That's really the only two possibilities that we have for mathematical statements. Any values for the variable that you can plug in that makes the statement true is a solution to that equation. And so notice that if I plug in x equals 1 into here, and I simplify both sides, I'm going to get the left-hand side to equal the right-hand side. And so let's go ahead and show that. Let's show that with that one. Okay, so we have 3 parentheses 4 times 1 minus 2 close parentheses plus 1 equals 2 times 1 plus 5. And then just simplify each side using the order of operations. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then plus 1 there. And then on the right-hand side, 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 5 is 7. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So we get 7 equals 7. Notice that 7 does in fact equal 7. That's the reason that x equals 1 is the solution to this equation. Alrighty. Well, guess what? You've just solved your first linear equation in this class. Alrighty. Well, I will see you in the next video. Have fun.